SummerSlam 2000. The best year in WWE when you take into consideration business, the product, ratings, all that. 2000 was a year that was hit on all cylinders, and SummerSlam was no different. Let's get right into it. To kick off the show, you have Right to Censor versus Too Cool, and Right to Censor go over, and Right to Censor have one of the most obnoxious theme songs of all time. They're one of the most vilely hated groups of all time, so they did their job. They were tremendous heels. They took everything that the WWF fan at that point in time loved and tuned in for and went against it. And it was brilliant. And Right to Censor went over. And that was not... It's not always smart to have heels go over at the kickoff of a show, but it's nice to throw that in to eliminate predictability. And then we have next X-Pac versus Road Dogg, and it was at the time where DX wasn't really a thing anymore. Triple H was more focused on the McMahon-Helmsley stuff. And so that was basically the dissolving of DX. X-Pac wins in a relatively short match. And then next we have Chyna and Eddie Guerrero versus Val Venis and Trish Stratus for the Intercontinental title. And Chyna and Eddie Guerrero win, and Chyna's your Intercontinental Champion. Which that led to dissension between her and Eddie, and which eventually led to their breakup months down the line. And yeah, Chyna, it was always cool to see Chyna as Intercontinental Champion because she was one of the few girls out there that could hang with the guys. And it was always cool to see her get that title because, you know, she'd be mixing it up with them a lot more. Jerry Lawler versus Taz. In what was a very weirdly built match, Taz was going around attacking a lot of random people, and Jerry Lawler ended up being the one to stand up for all of them because he eventually went after JR, I believe. And then, so it's Lawler's first WWF match in a while, and Lawler wins when JR breaks a jar of candy over Taz's head, which never said WWF wasn't ridiculous around this point in time, because it absolutely was. Steve Blackman versus Shane McMahon. Good God. Good God. This is a very memorable match for one reason. They brawled around ringside, around the arena, and then in an effort to escape, Shane climbs the Titantron, I believe it was, and he's pretty much all the way up there. And Blackman hits him a couple times with a kendo stick, and he falls a good 50 feet. And it's one of the most incredible sights in SummerSlam history. And then, to Blackman's credit, he fell right after him. And Blackman is your new hardcore champion in the most memorable spot in SummerSlam history, I dare to say. So yeah, great stuff there. Chris Benoit versus Chris Jericho, 2 out of 3 falls. anytime these two mixed it up, it was a bona fide, undeniable classic. They feuded for almost a full year because the Radicals debuted. They did their feud with, I believe, Cactus and other people who were against the McMahon-Helmsley regime. And then Benoit went and feuded Jericho. And they did that, and they were having matches up until the Royal Rumble following this. But this match right here, good God, was it a clinic. And it showed just what these two were capable of, and it showed that these two were two of the, if not the two, finest competitors on that roster. Benoit ended up getting the edge out 2 falls to 1. And then we go from one classic to another. Edge and Christian versus the Hardys versus the Dudleys in the first ever TLC match. It was everything that the WWF was built on at that point. High spots and crash TV and just all of that at its perfection, and all of these teams were just completely on point. That you had the Dudleys, masters of putting people through tables, Hardys, the masters of jumping off ladders, and Edge and Christian with the sickening concerto. And they went out there and they beat the absolute hell out of each other. Jeff swantoned from the top of a ladder through a table with nobody there after Bubba moves. I think Matt and Devon fall from the titles down. I believe one or both of them actually hit feet first. Bubba goes off the ladder through 4 tables on the outside, and it's one of, if not the best ladder match in WWE history, and not to mention TLC matches. And Edge and Christian win, retain the titles. Just one of the most famous SummerSlam matches of all time, because it was the first in a type of match that is looked forward to anytime it's announced, because you know it's going to be incredibly entertaining. The Cat versus Terry in a stink face match. The Cat wins. Moving on. Undertaker versus Kane. Weirdly built feud. Weird match. Kane wanted Undertaker to become a monster again. And then the match happens, and they're brawling, and it spills back into the ring. And Undertaker takes Kane's mask off, and he hides his face and runs away. So, very strange. Didn't really lead to anything. So what was really the point of it? The Rock versus Triple H versus Kurt Angle in a triple threat match for the WWF title. This was fun. Triple H and Kurt brawl around before The Rock even makes his entrance, and Kurt Angle is concussed before The Rock even makes his entrance, because that famous spot where Triple H is going for the pedigree and then the table gives out and Angle falls on his face. And kudos to Kurt, he worked through the rest of the match with a concussion, but The Rock wins. All in all, really good show. Not as good as the SummerSlam a couple years prior, but it was better than the one from the previous year. So, until next time, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Follow us on Twitter at Unlimited1, like the Unlimited Facebook page, and until next time, I will talk to you all later.